I don't wanna lose you now. Looking right at the other half of me. The biggest city set in my heart is this place, and now you're gone. Ooh. Today, guys, we are doing something very good. Yeah, I have a sock on my microphone. Alright, so we're watching top 10 scary Korean urban legends. Is there one thing in this world that scares me? It's Asian zombie girls. Unless it's Blackpink. Then welcome. Shout out to most amazing top 5, top 10 scary Korean urban legends. This is another type of video that I usually do. I usually do K-pop. But I am into this scary, horrible stuff that contains death and Asian zombie girls that are dead. If you're Korean, let me know if these things are real. Let's get into it. Let's go!
Welcome back everyone to Amazing
Thank you.
Top 10. It's been way too long since we've done a scary story kind of video on this channel. I was honestly struggling to find things that would creep you guys out, and then I found some really creepy stories from Korea. Now, I love Korea, I'm hoping to go there one day in my life, but these stories have me thinking twice. They are insane. My name is Danny Berg, and I hope you guys are ready for the top 10 scary Korean urban legends.
I am ready.
Unless I mention otherwise, these are going to be from South Korea.
I am
just
ready.
For you guys worrying about the details.
Wait.
Unless I mention otherwise, these are going to be from South Korea.
Okay, so they are from South Korea, every one of them. Okay, that's perfect because I'm listening to South Korean pop, I think. Is it just South Korea that make K-pop?
For you guys worrying about the details. Starting off at number 10 now, we have the Virginial Ghost. This is a
Oh, the Virgin Ghost. No. No. That is the ring bitch. I hate her. That is the embodiment of what scares me the most.
term used to describe those grudge-type apparitions that you've probably seen in horror movies with the hair over the face, usually dressed in white. One day, a man who lived on the top floor of an apartment building woke up to the sound of a knock at his door. He lived alone and rarely got visitors. He walked to the door and asked, "Who's there?" After a few seconds, a voice said, "Count to 100 and don't make a sound or you'll die."
Count to 100, don't make a sound or you'll die. Should you count inside your head? You need to come with specific details.
Opened the door and there was nobody there. He was still quite scared though, and so he closed his eyes and started to count to 100 in his head. When he got to 49, he opened his eyes out of curiosity, and there she was, right in front of his face. Next up at number 9 now, we have plastic surgery.
Wait, what's that it? Can't you learn us how to defeat that ghost? Oh man, I'm never going to South Korea.
Right in front of his face. Next up at number 9 now, we have plastic surgery. Now, plastic surgery is a big
that's a scary urban legend.
market in South Korea, and as such, horror stories have sprouted up around it.
What? That to that? No.
This story starts with a man sitting on an empty subway car when a tall, thin woman sits down in front of him. Her long...
Don't say long black hair.
Dark hair covers most...
Yep. Tall, skinny woman with long dark hair. Yep, that's my nightmare.
...of her face, but he can see she's wearing a surgical mask. As the doors close, he catches her eye. He smiles. She asks him, "Am I pretty?" He replies, "Yes," and then she starts to take the mask off. There's a huge wound from ear to ear, exposing her bleeding.
Oh my lord, my god. It's a dentist's dream though.
Gums, teeth, and muscles. "Am I pretty now?" she screams at him. She takes out a scalpel and moves towards him. The doors open and he runs for his life. Next up at number 8 now.
What? That's a bit overreaction. First, she screams, "Am I pretty now?" And then she comes with a scalpel. Wait, that's overreacting. He called you pretty. Don't do that.
Open and he runs for his life. Next up at number 8 now, we have the organ thief. This is quite a modern South Korean urban...
Okay.
legend coming from the city of Gwangju. Screenshots of a text conversation between two friends appeared on Facebook.
Okay. Yeah. Can someone translate that?
and went viral. One of the friends was warning the other to not take taxis there at night. They said that one of their friends got in a taxi while drunk. The taxi driver then put a needle in their neck. They lost consciousness and were defenseless. When they came round, they were bleeding from their stomach and lying in a field on the outskirts of the city. He was rushed to hospital where doctors found he was missing a kidney. The fear of
I would never trust my friends if they said, hey, don't take taxi there because I lost my kidney the last time.
these organ-stealing taxi drivers became so much that city officials said it was actually affecting the taxi business in the city. All right, next up at number 7.
Wow, that's bad. Oh, poor taxi drivers. Some bad taxi drivers are taking the organs of their customers. But yeah, oh no, the drivers, no.
Now we have Dalgyal Guishin. This is what's known as a traditional type of Korean ghost dating back in legend hundreds and hundreds of years. It's notable because the ghost is said to appear with absolutely no facial features. No eyes, no nose or mouth. Some of them even lack arms and legs. They're often referred to as perhaps the most...
So it's a worm? It's basically a worm? No face, no arms, no legs, just... whip, whip.
Most terrifying spirits in Korean folklore, as even just looking at one can cause instant death. Alright, next up at number 6 now, we have the bat.
How can you look at something without eyes? Is it like if you see the stump of his arm, you're like, oh no, is that a worm? What is that? Is it a worm?
Alright, next up at number 6 now, we have the back. The story...
Oh no, the back.
The story goes that a married couple with a young son were always fighting every single day. After years and years of this, it got so bad that in a sheer rage, the father murdered the mother. He covered up the crime and nobody else suspected a thing. The only strange thing was the boy never seemed to complain about the absence of his mother. And so he asked him, son, why aren't you calling out for mommy? Most little boys would want their mummy to be with them. Tell me what bothers you. The little boy looked up and slowly replied, I'm fine. I was just wondering why you're all...
Oh. Oh, no. That's what I'm talking about when talking about Asian zombies. Oh, trust me, I would live with skinwalkers and wendigos any day. Any day. I would share bed with Bigfoot. I would hug the devil himself. But I would not live in a world where these things exist. So if you have seen it in Korea, I'm never coming.
Up and slowly replied, I'm fine. I was just wondering why you're always carrying mommy on your back. This is one of many similar stories found across the land.
Similar? Is it?
Next up at number 5 now, we have sesame seeds. This is a strange urban legend that seems to scare people about coming into contact with sesame seeds. A girl had heard that taking a bath with sesame seeds in the water would be good for her skin. So that's exactly what she did. She sat in the bath for hours and hours.
That's not good.
After a while, the girl's mother became concerned and went to check on her. When she opened the door, she found the girl was covered in the seeds which had sunk deep into her flesh. The daughter was crying and trying to remove them with a...
Ugh! If you have tracheoblophia, sorry.
Toothpick. There's one for any of you
I'm
guys
sorry,
who
I'm
hate
sorry.
the thought of holes in your skin. Alright, moving on to number 4 now. We have the bathroom girl. This one is...
Hell no. Hell no. No. I won't have it. I won't. No, it's not happening. It's not happening. No. Not in a million years is that happening. One thing, you sit at a public bathroom and take a poop. And you hear noises outside of your bathroom. And it's like, oh, I hope there's no people filming with their phone cameras over there. No. It's the ring bitch coming over.
Kind of like Moaning Myrtle from Harry Potter, but about 100 times more creepy. There are stories that in some of the old Korean schools with their dimly lit bathrooms live the ghosts of girls who have killed themselves. It's said that she now haunts the stall where the...
Smash.
Event took place. How do you know which stall it is? Well, the toilets have been said to flush by themselves, the doors slam with nobody around, and sometimes you can hear her cry or even catch a glimpse of her in the mirror. The most gruesome by far, though, is that sometimes she is said to emerge from the stall and ask you if you will use red or blue toilet paper. If you choose red, the ghost will then cut you open. If you choose blue, the ghost will suffocate you. I probably just
Okay, so hey, would you prefer being cut open or be suffocated? Just asking.
wouldn't wipe. Next up,
has this happened to you?
Next up at number 3 now, we have ghost money. In this urban legend, a member of the South Korean Mint went away on a business trip. During the trip, his daughter was abducted, murdered, and then dismembered. After a lengthy investigation, nobody was tried for the crime. It was believed that this lack of justice would turn the girl's ghost into an angry spirit that would seek revenge. Because of this, the Mint began to place images of her body parts and parts of her name on South Korean currency in the hopes that this would appease her. The Mint has denied all knowledge of this. At number 2 now, we have the loan shark. A loan shark is someone who lends people money, often illegally.
Oh no!
At extremely high interest rates. Sometimes, if they don't get their money back, they take matters into their own hands. There's an urban legend from a small village in South Korea. Farmers
I would have done that myself if I lent someone my money and they didn't pay me back.
There had to make a mass grave to bury cattle in who had died from disease. Not long after that, they heard a human voice calling out from beneath the soil. By the time they had dug through the dirt, the person buried among the cattle had already died. An investigation found that they owed a lot of money to a loan shark. This has apparently happened dozens of times across the country. And finally, number 1.
What?
We have
I didn't
This
understand.
is cattle in who had died from disease.
I did not understand that.
Grave to bury cattle in who had died from disease. Not long after that, they heard a human voice calling out from beneath the soil. By the time they had dug through the dirt, the person buried among the cattle had already died. An investigation found that they owed a lot of money.
Oh, okay, so they made a mass grave for cows, alright? Because the cows were sick and died. And when digging the grave, they heard voices underneath the soil because someone had been buried alive. And when they got to the person, they were already dead. So that were people that owed money. Okay.
To a loan
I don't think that's an urban legend. That's just straight up crime.
Shark. This has apparently happened dozens of times across the country. And finally, number 1 now, we have oysters. This is a really weird urban legend coming from the South Korean coastline. Apparently, one day a guy was walking along the beach when he slipped and fell on a sharp rock that cut his knee open. He washed it quickly and put a bandage over it. When he got home, it started to itch, but he didn't want to remove the bandage in case it just made things worse. He took it off after a few days, and to his absolute horror, tiny oysters just covered the wound. It turns out there had actually been oyster eggs on the rock he had fallen on, which had gotten into his wound.
What?
They were protected by the bandage and fed on his blood until they had rooted themselves in his leg.
What? That, okay, so I don't know if I am weird, but that sounds like a good time. You know, when you itch a mosquito bite, it feels good. And I guess itching off oysters from your insides is also good. No, I don't.
Yeah. Well, guys, this has kind of inspired me to start looking into other countries' urban legends.
Okay, so he has other urban legends, but we're not finished yet. He has a part 2. So let's see that and get into it. Most amazing top 10. Go give him a follow. He has 7 million subs. How many subs do I have? I have 2,289. Whee!
One of the first urban legend videos we did on this channel was the Korean urban legends. In many ways, I think it spawned the whole series. It's let us cover a whole bunch of different countries around the world, so I thought, why don't we return to Korea and take a look at some more? I know some of you said that Korea has the scariest stories by far. Let's look at some more and see how many others of you agree. My name is Danny Burke. This is the top 10 scary Korean urban legends, part 2. Just before we jump into this video, I want to say a quick thank you to Shade Tree Sunglasses who made this video possible. They are genuinely one of the coolest companies I've come across recently.
I want to thank me for making this video possible.
Starting off at number 10 now, we have 1212. The story goes like this. One night, a Korean girl named Sun Hee was at school. It was late, and she was studying in the library with a group of other students from her class. All the lights were on, but the rest of the school was in darkness. After a while, Sun Hee went to use the toilet. She told her friends and then headed down the dark hallway to the bathroom. A few minutes passed, and then, in the library, the other students began to hear a faint tapping noise. It was quiet at first, but got steadily louder. It seemed to be coming
Wait, did someone tap something?
from the window. When they looked out, there, standing in the darkness, was a pale woman. She pressed her face against the window, but seemed to keep her eyes shut. One of her long, crooked fingers was tapping on the window. Then, one of the students gasped in horror. The woman wasn't closing her eyes. She didn't have any eyes at all. There were just dark holes where her eyes should have been. Then she raised her fist and smashed the glass. All the lights went out. In the bathroom, Sun Hee was about to wash her hands when she was plunged into darkness. There was silence. She was too far from the library to hear the screams as the woman slaughtered the other students. She
What? Way to go on escalating.
stepped back into the library and stopped dead in her tracks. The bodies of the other students were everywhere. Shaking with fear, her mind raced as she tried to
Everywhere, yes, yeah.
figure out what had happened. Then she heard footsteps coming from down the hallway. Sun Hee dropped to the ground to play dead. She heard something enter the room. It made a rustling sound as it moved. Then there was a whisper. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Sun Hee kept her eyes closed and prayed. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. She felt the presence draw nearer and heard the voice getting louder. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. As it came beside her, the counting stopped. Sun Hee remained paralyzed with fear. There was absolute silence. After several minutes of this, Sun Hee thought the woman had gone. She slowly opened her eyes.
No.
The woman was crouching directly over her, staring into her eyes. She had one pale, bony finger pointing straight at Sun Hee's
Keep your boner finger away from me.
face. 1, 2, she said, before plucking her eyeballs out with her fingers. Yes. Okay.
What?
We started off
Okay,
pretty
yeah,
intense
is that whack or varir? No, is that fax or cap?
with that one, didn't we? Let's keep it going though, as we move on to our number 9 now, which is the Cuckoo Man. This urban legend began to spread around Korea.
The Cuckoo Man? Alright. Yeah, they can work on their names. 1212 and the Cuckoo Man. That sounds like a weird version of Spider-Man. Welcome, the Cuckoo Man.
A few years ago, there were rumors in schools about a crazy man who was terrorizing students, the Cuckoo Man. They say that he would lurk in alleyways and dark streets, lying in wait for his next victim. One story involved a group of schoolgirls passing by. They heard a voice saying, "Cuckoo, cuckoo." When they turned around to look at him, the Cuckoo Man would savagely attack them. Some say that he used a baseball bat, others say his weapon of choice was an axe. Either way, reports of this happening became more and more frequent. One of them involved 20 to 30 schoolgirls walking down the street when the Cuckoo Man jumped them and started hitting them all with a baseball bat.
What? Okay, he lost his mind.
By one. He only stopped when the police arrived, at which point he fled into the night.
Imagine you're walking home from school and you're a girl, right? And then you hear cuckoo, cuckoo behind you and you think, oh, it's a bird, let me see. You get bludgeoned by a baseball bat. And not just that, your 29 friends that you're walking with also gets bludgeoned with a baseball bat. I mean, no disrespect to the victims here, but if you are 30 people...
Night. Some say there is one way to stop the Cuckoo Man from attacking you. If you're
Oh, it's one... Oh, so it's a ghost.
Stop the Cuckoo Man from attacking you. If you're walking down the street and hear a strange voice behind you saying cuckoo, cuckoo, you must also reply with cuckoo, cuckoo. And
Oh, okay. I know what I'm doing when I'm going to Korea. I'm gonna play cuckoo, cuckoo. I'm gonna hide around schools and say cuckoo, cuckoo.
then
Oh, no, I'm not.
your life. Moving on to number 8 now, we have the MP3 kidnappings. This urban legend appeared around 2010 and has been spreading in some form or another ever since. People say that kidnappers in Korea have had much easier jobs ever since people started listening to music with their headphones. It was around 2010 when listening to music like this became very widespread in South Korea, and that's about when the reports of the kidnappings began. People say that kidnappers were driving around dark streets waiting to spot someone with headphones blasting music in their ears. And then, when the innocent person is distracted, they are bundled into the back of a car and taken away. The phenomenon began spreading across the whole country and was even talked about online. Many blogs and forums told the story of a female middle school student who was walking around one night, headphones blaring. She was kidnapped by 3 or 4 criminals who wrapped tape around her mouth and then assaulted her. They then returned her to the spot where they found her. Although these may just seem like stories, it has resulted in some South Koreans developing a real superstition about listening to loud music alone, especially when walking along dark and creepy streets. Next up, number 7 now, we have the handsome man. The story goes like this. 19-year-old Haruko...
Hey. It's just rumors, guys. I have never done anything bad. Trust me, Let's see what they say about me.
Lived on the 14th floor of her apartment building. One night she was coming home late from university and took the elevator up to her floor. She was alone, but a moment before the doors closed, a handsome man stepped into the elevator with her. He smiled and stood quite close to her. They chatted.
Yeah, I remember that.
For a while, and the man said that he lived on the 13th floor. When they reached that, he got out, turned to face her. His smile turned to an evil one. He tilted his head and said, "I'll see you upstairs."
No, that's not what happened. I had AirPods in, and I was talking on the phone with my girlfriend, right? And just to be, you know, polite, I smiled to the woman that was going to her apartment, like this, while I was talking to my girlfriend. I see you upstairs. So, yeah.
Then he pulled out a knife and laughed manically as...
Oh yeah, that was because I was looking forward to cut open the steak I had in my apartment. I just had a steak knife. I can't wait.
You ran up the...
Oh, alright, I'm done.
Staircase. Before Haruko could do anything, the elevator doors closed. She tried to stop the elevator by hitting every button she could, but nothing worked. When she got to her floor, the doors opened and there he was. She was never heard from again. Some people in Korea believe this is the reason why elevators now have a stop button, and they'll be happy to tell you Haruko's story to show you why. Moving on to number 6 now, we have...
Is that the reason?
The sesame seeds. The story goes like this. One day a girl was worried about her skin.
Yeah, you have told that one.
Next up, number 5 now, we have the eyeless woman. This urban legend comes from north of Seoul. There you can find a strip of highway that connects Goyang to Paju. It's called Jeuro, and it's a road that's notorious for heavy fog that's been blamed for a number of horrific car accidents over the years. At least that's what the officials say. You see, many locals believe there is a supernatural cause behind the accidents. Many drivers have claimed to have seen
What is that? Is that a person?
Have claimed to have seen a young woman wearing sunglasses stood on the side of the highway at night. It's only when they get close that the drivers realize there are no sunglasses. Instead, her eyes are actually gouged out and absolutely hollow. The shock of seeing her sends drivers careering off the road and to their untimely deaths. Moving on to number 4 now, we have the cockroaches. This South Korean urban legend will freak out anyone with a fear of creepy crawlies. The story goes like this. One day, a girl's stomach started to hurt really bad.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Didn't see any reason for this, and so she went straight to the hospital. The doctors took an x-ray which appeared to show what they called foreign elements inside her. They took some more detailed x-rays and discovered that what they were actually looking at were cockroaches inside her body. Somehow a cockroach's eggs had ended up inside her, where they had hatched into fully grown cockroaches of the fluids and warmth. They
Shut the fuck up.
Showed no signs of wanting to leave and
Shut the fuck up.
Had to be removed through surgery. Many people now check their clothes twice for cockroach eggs unless they want the story to come true for them too. Next up, number 3 now, we have the dead dream. According to some people in Korea, there have been reports of dead family members appearing in people's dreams.
I think that's normal.
One such story involves that of a man who dreamt his grandmother was beckoning him over while she was waist-deep. Involves that of a man who dreamt his grandmother was appearing in people's dreams. One such story involves that of a man who dreamt his grandmother was beckoning him over while she was waist-deep in water. He wanted to go to her in the dream. After all, he did miss her and, you know, she was still his grandmother. Even if she was behaving really creepily, something didn't feel right though. He felt in danger even though it was just a dream. The next day he told his wife about the dream and her eyes widened. His wife explained what the dream meant. She said if you go into the arms of a dead person in a dream, especially if they're in water, it will be a sure sign that your soul is about to be stolen. The husband said he kept having the same dream night after night, but each time he
That's weird.
could feel himself getting pulled closer and closer to her. He was only just managing to wake up in time. Then one day they realized they had kept one of the grandmother's possessions in the house by accident instead of leaving.
By accident? Isn't... alright. When family members die, isn't it normal to get some of the stuff and have in your house?
Leaving her to rest with it. The family believed this is what tied her spirit to the house still and was causing the dreams. After they paid their respects once more, the man's dreams stopped. At least for now. Next up at number 2 now we have fan death. This is a well-known urban legend in Korean culture that fans not only cool people down, they can also kill
Wait, oh, it's a fan.
them. They are said to do this in a number of different ways. One way is hypothermia. A person's metabolism is said to slow down at night and make them become more sensitive to heat. Some people believe this makes them more prone to hypothermia and that essentially a fan really can freeze you to death. Then there is the slightly
Bullshit.
more creepy reason, asphyxiation. Some believe that fans will suck up oxygen and blow carbon dioxide towards this sleeping person. This will slowly kill them in their sleep. It seems that this urban legend is very prevalent in Korea. In 2006, a South Korean government group
Is that true?
warned of asphyxiation from electric fans and said they can kill people, especially elder patients or those with breathing problems.
Is
and
that-
finally, number 1 now we have the cockroach face. Yes, we're returning to
The cockroach face. This is bullying.
cockroaches now for our final story. It goes a little bit like this. A guy had some bad acne on his face. He was desperate to cure it, perhaps a little bit too desperate. He told his friends he would do
That's not
anything
bad.
to get rid of the unsightly scars the spots had left on his face. They told him to go see a local shaman who apparently had a very special method for treating acne. He didn't ask
I don't think going to a shaman is the way to go.
any questions. Like I said, he would do anything for a cure. The shaman sat him down and quickly told him
Alright. If I had acne and wanted my scars to disappear, and it stood between like a face surgeon or whatever they are, and that, I would pick that, yeah.
exactly what he needed to do. He told him to find a cockroach before going to bed. He would have to put it next to his pillow just before going to sleep. Sleeping with this cockroach by his face would make the scars go away. The guy didn't ask any questions about how this would work and
Didn't ask any questions?
went home. He found a cockroach, left it right by his pillow, and tried to get to sleep that night. The next morning, he woke up, he looked in the mirror, and was amazed to see that it had worked. His scars were all gone. But then, on closer inspection, he saw that the scar holes were not gone. They were simply filled with dozens of tiny, oozing cockroach eggs. I hope you guys haven't eaten recently because I feel a little bit sick. I guess the good news is that is the end of the video, so you can go and recover if that last one was a little bit too gross.
Let me know if you want me to check out your country's urban legends. I would love to do it. Comment it in the comment section. Bye.